Are you divorced, maybe out of a breakup, and you're struggling with moving back and forth between feeling really crappy about yourself, thinking that you're not good enough? Are you ever going to have the relationship that you want? Sort of replaying all the things that you did wrong. Maybe you stay there for hours, days, weeks, I don't know, months. And then you get sick of that and you're like, I don't want to be like this anymore. And you find yourself getting angry and more energized. And then you land in a place where you're like, yeah, I deserve better than that. And F that and F them and F that relationship. And I'm going to do better. And you land in pride. Maybe you spend days or weeks there only to then find yourself collapse back into shame at some point. Are you spending time going back and forth between these two states, but you never really feel like you're in your true power? You never really feel good. I get this. I did this myself after I was divorced, and I didn't know that I was missing this whole piece of how to get unstuck from that pride, shame cycle. So I want to show you something. It's called the Inner Map. It was created by Dr. Julie, and it's based off of David Hawkins' map of consciousness. Now, what Hawkins did, his big contribution to the field, was he took all of these, what he called levels of consciousness, and he calibrated them energetically and lined them up and put them on this map. So you see here, this line is not really up, down. It's more like in and out. Okay, so this is all mammals. This is us all day long going in and out of all these states, these emotional states. So if you see these states here below this purple line, these are all the negative emotions, negative not because they're bad or wrong, just because they drain our energy. And then these more positive emotions, not because they're better, but just because they give us energy. They're more life-giving. Those are up here. So this is us all day long going along in and out of these states. If you think about your dog, right? You come home and your dog is wagging their tail. They're all happy to see you. And then you notice they got in the garbage. And so you say, bad dog. And then your dog, right? Tail between the legs. They go into shame. Shame is at the bottom of the map. All mammals know this. It's just that we have a language and stories that we associate with it. So your dog's eventually going to come back out, right? Animals, they go into these states because they're functional. We need them. They help us survive. We need a way to interface with the world, to have a way to tell us to get out of the way of the moving vehicle, to escape a threat. It's just that when it comes to relationship, they kind of suck. So this is us all day long, right? And so if you look at the bottom, we've got shame. Shame's at the bottom of the map because it's the most contracted energy. It's the least energized. Now, it's not because there's not energy in it. It's just because the energy isn't moving. Oh, right? It's all contracted. So as we climb the map, these emotions get a little bit more energized, right? You could see this dotted line here separates out all the immobilized emotions below the line from the mobilized ones. So we go from frozen fear to agitated fear to anger, right? We know the energy of anger, and then into pride. Now, pride, this isn't the kind of pride that says, I love myself and I feel good about myself and what I'm doing in the world. This is more the righteous pride, the pride that says, I feel good because I'm better than you. See how that's kind of different? Now, if you notice, pride is below the line, but it's the closest to the line. So for me, pride, it doesn't feel all that bad. It definitely doesn't feel as bad as shame. And so if I spent a good amount of time in shame, it's like I get sick of it and then I'm pull myself up into pride. F that, and I'm better than this, and I'm going to do better the next time. And it feels good temporarily, but it's still not above the line where life looks and feels so much different. Because turns out our thoughts reflect our state, meaning when I'm in a shame state, my thoughts are going to reflect that. This is where we don't feel good enough and we're bad and just in sort of victim mentality, right? My sadness stories are going to reflect sadness when I'm in a sad state. When I'm in pride, I'm going to have prideful stories. And so when we get above the line, the same thing happens. When I'm in acceptance and appreciation, the energy of that, my thoughts reflect that. And so as with everything in this body of work, it's all about coming into the body and shifting the energy so that we can access our essence, our soul, our creative brain. I kind of look at this like how the sun's always there, but the clouds are some days blocking it, that's what happens, right? When we go below the line, when we get stuck in these states, it's not that our essence is there or ever goes away, it's just obscured. And so if we can move through this stuff, we've got this whole world of possibility and love and joy and synchronicity and connection up here. I don't think we have to learn how to love ourselves. I don't think we have to learn how to be more appreciative. I think that it is innately there, that we are hardwired for this. It's just that we have so much of this stuff blocking it. It looks like we've forgotten. But time and time again with myself and with my clients, I watch them, their faces, they change by the end of the session when they've shifted to access these states. They're brighter, their thinking is clearer, they're more connected, they're in tune with their own wisdom. And so I don't think getting out of shame has to take years and years of talking about it. Maybe that's helpful. And I definitely had a lot of my own therapy, but the thing that I was missing during all of that was how to actually go into my body and shift. Because otherwise I was just recycling stories, which is why post-divorce, I didn't really know how to get out of this and this. Now, don't get me wrong. I felt all this stuff in between, but I often was just flip-flopping, right? There's a handful of tools, but one specific process called SEW. You can go to my YouTube page. I talk about it. Julie Colwell on her YouTube page also has some really great videos. It turns out you can actually shift your energy and access these states relatively quickly. I mean, not always, right? Everyone's different. But that we don't have to spend time analyzing and digging through all the things we're thinking when we're down here. So if this is you, the flip-flopper with pride and shame post-divorce, what if you knew there was a whole other way? And that working with your energy and your body is the way to get there. So for today, if you find yourself in one of these places, I wonder what it would be like to tune in and simply notice one sensation that you're experiencing, right? To actually face into that, to put all your attention there, which is very different than what many of us have done for much of our lives when we're turning away and avoiding and staying busy and doing all the things to not feel the things, right? Simple, not easy. But when we can do that, when we can notice the feelings and allow them to move and clear through our body, there's this whole world of creative brain just waiting to play in. So let me know what you think about this. Where are you getting stuck? What questions do you have? How is this landing for you? I'd love to hear. Have a great day, guys.